Down in the Den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy Mars, and we are back with another fantastic episode. And today with me, I have an artist. She is super dope. She's a true R&B artist. She's a little bit of black girl magic in the most way. Welcome to the Den, Ayoka. Ayoka, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. You're one of the coolest people we've come across, so I'm very, very happy to have you here in the Den.
Thanks.
So it's a tradition here in the Den to get the audience familiar with you so they can know your story. I always say all heroes have an origin story, be it a bug bite or be it a dose of gamma radiation. Every hero has an origin story on how they became who they became. Tell the Den mates, how did Ayoka become Ayoka? What's your origin story?
So here's my anti-hero villain origin story.
Hey, I love that too.
All right. So when I was younger, I was into music a lot. And so I started learning how to play instruments. And then it kind of just went into doing more. So I started doing spoken word and things like that. I learned how to play 6 instruments. I didn't think I was a singer. So I was just whatever. I like singing. I always liked it. But there was one time that we were on a road trip to Canada, right, with my church. And so Casey and JoJo was out. I was 7 years old or something. And so I was look, I love this song. And I started singing it. And nobody responded, and the pastor acted like he was asleep. So I was okay, I'm gonna do that again. So I was let me just learn my instruments and mind my fucking business. so I didn't really get into it until 6th grade. I had a piano teacher, and he was sing that note, sing this note. He was you have a great speaking voice. I think you can sing. You can do lessons if you want. And I was okay. And I was he's weird. And I was just ignored him. And so then I went to college, and some of my friends were in the concert choir. And so then I'm just fucking around singing with them. Am I allowed to curse?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Or hell yeah.
Okay. Sorry, okay. So basically they were in the concert choir. And so I was oh, this is fun. And so then I started singing a little bit, and I was Christian for a time. And so I had joined they wanted me on the praise team. I was okay, I didn't know I could sing like that. So I because people would be oh yeah, I didn't know you could sing. And I'm I can't, but I was in denial or something because of my 7 Casey and JoJo trauma or whatever.
That trauma will get you every time.
So then I decided to switch my major from psychology to music education, just because I'm a Libra and that's what we do. And so
September 30th, Libra gang.
September 25th. Hey.
There you go.
Happy early birthday.
You too.
Thank you. So yeah, so basically when I went to switch my major to music education, they were yeah, you have to join one of the choirs. And I was oh, I didn't know that I had to do all that. So I went in there and for my audition, and he had me sing notes, and then he was well, you could be anything from alto 2 to soprano 1. What do you want to be? And I was just I don't know. So I was soprano 2, because I was okay. And so that's how it began pretty much. And then it just progressed from there, and I started getting my individual lessons because of my degree that I was, going after. And then after that, I started picking it back up. I started writing music. I turned my music into, I turned my spoken word pieces. I was maybe I should try writing music. So I was, playing around on my guitar. This is when Corinne Bailey Rae was a fave of mine when I was younger. And, this is when I was still sweet. So that's why I call it my anti-hero villain story, because I was still green. I was sweet. I was so nice. And so, I'm just writing all these nice little songs. And then I met my amazing voice teacher, Karen Nimarilla. And when I went in there, she was how did you do that? And I was what? And she was like, that. And I was like, I don't know. And then she's like, huh, she just did this thing nobody knows how to do, and she doesn't know how she did it. So then she essentially told me I was a fucking prodigy. So I was like, oh, really? So then, I started, before I got to her, I was actually learning Queen of the Night, the magic flute.
Yes.
You know that song, right? And so I didn't know that, you had to be a certain voice type to do that with a certain level of skill. Because I started with a previous teacher. She was like very nice, but like mild mannered. So she didn't really, Karen, she's very feisty. So I love her. And after that, I was like, bet, like I had gotten over, can I sing? And I was like, oh, I can sing. And then I made Venus, and Venus was kind of safe because it was my first project. But people love Venus. I was like, great, And then I made Nightshade, which y'all are gonna hear, and I'm screaming all over the place.
No, we
I'm like,
love it. I love the
it's the
energy. It's
soul, the
infectious. So much
growl.
that I knocked my mic down. There we go.
Did you hear on did you listen to The Weekend?
Yes, yes, yes,
The
yes.
background vocals. I'm going off in the back because that was my hypest song. And it was the song that has the least vocals because it's mostly like a sing-song rap.
Right.
But in the back, it's like a yeah. I just woke up. So
No, that's awesome. And we talk about that song a little bit later. I have some questions about that. But it's so funny how your origin story is almost the exact opposite of mine because the choir crushed my dreams. I do a lot. I always say I do a lot of things well, but singing is not one of them. And it's the thing I wish I could do the most. And when I was in college, same thing. One of my friends who could sing was like, hey man, lots of hot girls in the choir and you like to sing, let's go. And I'm like, I'm down. So we get in the choir, and I remember the song specifically was Kurt Franklin's You Are. And the choir director is playing the piano and hits a few bars, and I sing the lyric, and he stops. And he goes, who is that? And I'm thinking, oh, I'm about to get a solo. So I step up very proudly, the Libra in me. It is I. And he's like, do you rap or play drums or anything else? And I was like, no, I don't do that. And he was like, okay, so we don't have a place for you here if you can't do anything like rap or play drums because that's what we need and you can't sing. So I kind of did the Stewie Griffin American Idol tears. I didn't want to be a part of your choir anyway.
oh my
So
God.
that's hilarious that your gift was discovered when mine was crushed in the same zone. So that's awesome. Very awesome.
Not the Libra singing trauma. I'm telling you, they did us real dirty with that. Like
Real dirty, real dirty, real dirty. And I had an artist tell me, hey, you have an excellent talking voice. You probably can, you just can't hear. But I'm like, no, I will never try again. The trauma is too great. It's too great.
I will tell you this. I'm gonna tell you how much the oh God, church could be so mean. Okay, so look, so there's a guy, his name is Norman Keys, and he used to play the piano for Erica Badu. He had some part of writing Tyrone, or he was there in the making or something. But he was like, you're a soloist. Because remember I told you I joined the church choir.
Right.
He was like, I want you to really sing this solo. I said, I'm not ready. Right. So he's like, I was like, I'm not ready. I promise you, I'm not ready. He starts playing the damn song that morning. It was like on Easter. I don't know why it was so packed in there, but everybody decided to come to church that day. I got up there to sing that song. I was so nervous. I was like in key X, and I don't know where I was supposed to be. And they was just all looking at me. And I was just like, oh my God.
The church trauma is real. It's a real thing.
So
I could do a whole series about that. We could do a whole other spin-off show about church trauma. I'm going to take a note of that. That might actually be something we do here.
It's kind of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you were talking about your debut album, Venus, that was released late last year, and it's a very, very sexy album. So, we talk about, the good girl, obviously good girl, God, bad. Tell us about what went into creating that debut album. And I understand that you wrote and composed either all or the majority of the songs.
Yeah, I write everything that I put out. Awesome. And I was really scared about that because I was like, is it capable for me to write songs by myself and it's good? You know what I mean? So, I'm spiritual. So, I'm getting readings. They were like, yeah, you don't need another writer. Cause I literally got readings to ask, should I find another writer? And they were like, no, you don't need to. Just make sure you like what you put out. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, it worked. I was like, all right. So for that album, I really pulled on a lot of my like past experiences, a lot of the stuff that came from like my early 20s, and some of the stuff that was coming from like my current relationship. So it was really a mashup of all of that. And then it was also kind of like what emotions have I experienced that are kind of like global, like relatable, like what sentiments have I had, what feelings have I had that I've come across other people having too, and how can I convey that in a song where it's personal enough for people to be able to relate to it, but like broad enough for people to relate to it, to their specific situation. So that's basically where I came from with that.
And I definitely feel mission accomplished. Now, what's your favorite track on that? Mine is Need to Know. I love the storytelling on that song. It's very inspiring. I love it. It communicates. What's your favorite song on that project? Or do you have
My
one? I know some people say, "Oh, it's like children. I can't choose one." But if you
I
have
feel like I
siblings,
have
everyone
two.
knows there's a favorite sibling. So
Yeah. So first, that's very men love need to know. Like literally, like every like men love need to know. And I think the reason why is because I literally wrote that for my partner. That was something that we had went through, that we were currently going through, and like kind of freshly out, but still kind of in. And just to need to know, I softened it up on the oh, you said you wanna be with me. And I did that on purpose because I feel like sometimes women just don't know how to talk to men. Like, and so a lot of times, men, their emotions aren't really considered when conflict is happening or when expression is happening. And that's going to close anyone down. So I feel like with Need to Know, there was a balance of get your shit together, but I'm still here. I still love you, but get your shit together. I think that's why men like it. So for me, my favorite is probably between My Way and You.
fair enough, fair enough. And both of those are bops for certain, for certain. Now
Thanks.
we were talking about your new single Weekend, and that came out not too long ago. I really like it, and we touched on it a bit earlier. The energy is different. It's different from everything on Venus. It to me, it's like that turn up. We're coming out of the pandemic. I got a shot. I got a mask. I'm ready to get out. What inspired that track and the musical evolution? And we look more to that, more upbeat on your next project.
Yeah, so that's layered. So the first thing is that song is solely inspired by Chief Keef. It's actually a Chief Keef type beat I found on YouTube. I was like, this shit is so hard. Cause
Nice.
I was listening to like Don't Like. I was like on a Don't Like, little phase. And I was just like, I want to make a song that makes me and other people feel this hype. So that's why like in the weekend I'm like looking so good, make me want to fight a bitch. Cause I'm just like hype. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. When I heard it, I said, "Oh, this is different." Because I always like to review as much of the catalog of the artists that we talk to, and take notes. And I was like, "Oh, this is different. I need that energy. I feel that energy." So I love seeing that you're multifaceted and not a one trick pony at all. So it's super dope. Now you talk about your new album coming out. What's the name of this new project?
Nightshade.
Nightshade.
After,
When can we?
after the
That's a
poisonous
poison,
flower.
right? I was like, that's a poisonous flower, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a
Yep.
nerd. I remember it from some video game, Dungeons and Dragons, or something like
Love
that.
it.
Yeah. So I was like, I heard of Nightshade. Didn't know it was real, but awesome. Do we? Now I'm a little nervous. So I'm like, oh god, people can put this in my drink. All right. Do we have a release date, or how far are we along in this album?
Yeah, it's pretty much done. It'll release at the end of the year, sometime at the end of the year. So coming up soon. That's why I called it a villain story because Venus was light. And the reason why this next project is going to be darker because it's really fucking personal. I mean, there are some very emotional songs on this album, but there's also some real cutthroat. Like, Weekend gives a little bit where it's like, I'm gonna go and fuck his friend, then go back to him, you know? And then it's like a couple of other songs that are really giving like prowess, it's giving like seductress, like, am I gonna die? And I'm really for it. And the reason why is because, I went through a lot of shit. And like, over like 2020, 2019, like into 2019 and 2020. And I saw some of the worst parts of people that I could see. Like, that moment that you have where you're like, damn, like I can't believe they did that. Like, and so it was like I was pushed in the corner in the
Mm.
darkness, but in the dark, I found my power and them bitches better run. And that's kind of like how I feel about that.
I love that. I love that. You're definitely the anti-hero. That rocks. And you're absolutely right. I think the last 2 years, we've really seen the worst of humanity. So I love taking that and turning it into something positive that can make people dance and make people feel emotion. So that is super dope. Super dope. Now, if anyone follows you and goes on your page, they'll instantly notice that there's some spirituality there and that you're an extremely artistic person and
Thanks.
like I said before, filled with black girl magic. How important is that aspect to your life and your music and channeling that spirituality?
So I know that you shouldn't make anything your life, but it's my lifestyle. So it essentially is my life. In a sense of it's my lifestyle. So I am a shaman. I come from a line of Native American medicine women, and I'm also Creole Haitian, and I'm a witch. I'm a big old witch. So, that goes into everything I do. It's just who I am. And so, I have a store for it. I have a whole career in spirituality already. So it's just who I am. A lot of times I'll channel different parts of myself. I'll, just like really tap into myself, and really like and dig deep, and pull some shit out. I have different practices. So for Venus, I actually recorded most of it in the dark.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I recorded it in like a pitch black room, and I would actually turn the computer screen down when I was recording, so it was as dark as I could get it. And sometimes I put on shades. The reason why is because, like I said, I found my power in the dark. But there was a meditation I learned by this spiritual guru healer named Osho. Are you familiar with Osho?
I'm not, no.
Okay, so Osho is huge, and so Osho has a darkness meditation where it literally helps you face your shadow aspects, which neutralizes your fear of the dark, which neutralizes your fear of the unknown. So when I was like in my early 20s, I was looking crazy in the closet at my uncle's house, and I was doing my darkness medication, and they was like, where's Ayoka? Where's Theo? And I was like being crazy in the closet, but it worked.
It
And so
works.
but what I think happened with Venus, I really had to face the unknown. I had to face those fears, and it just felt like almost intuitively like right to record it in the dark. And that's because I could be completely vulnerable. There wasn't a light being shown on me. I had to get out of my head. I had to remove any extra stimulation. So most of the shit I do is in the dark, but some of it is also done under different colored lights. So
Mhm.
to
Smooth.
invoke certain energies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important, especially for indigenous people, Native Americans, African Americans, to know that when they say black girl magic or black man magic or it's a real thing.
It's quite literally.
It's quite literally a thing. And so definitely I think that's an awesome aspect of your art and your personality. So also
Thanks.
check out, we'll put this when the edit comes out, richgirlmagic.com, which is the site that you run, I understand. So
Mhm.
everybody check that out. I've checked it out. She has some awesome, awesome items up there. So
Thanks.
please, everyone check that out. Now, besides the spiritual aspect, your sound is very unique. And so when I'm listening to it, I like to hear if I can find influences. And so, if it's a pop artist, if it's a pop artist, I'm probably going to hear Michael Jackson. If it's R&B, I'm probably going to hear maybe some Beyonce, maybe some Rihanna, maybe some. But your sound is very unique, where it's all you, but it's dope. So, usually I ask who's your musical influences, and I know the answer. I don't in this case. So shop me. Who's your Mount Rushmore? If Ioka is charged with making her Mount Rushmore music artist, who's the four? And then you get one honorable mention.
Maxwell,
Dope.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's my favorite band in the whole wide world. Actually,
Really? What's your
that's
favorite song?
my favorite song is probably "Road Trippin'." A lot of
Okay.
people says "Under the Bridge" or "Californication" or any of the early Blood Sugar Sex Magic, but it's something about the melody to "Road Tripping." It literally just I can see me and Flea sitting in a '67 going down the California roadway. So "Road Tripping" is my favorite Chili Pepper song. Absolutely, seen them 4 times in concert. I love those guys. Love those. So that's
My
two.
favorite. Okay, yeah. My favorite from them is Porcelain.
Ooh, beautiful. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful. And which version? Because they've gone through a lot of lineup changes. Are you a Dave Navarro Chili Peppers? Are you John Frusciante? Or
Dave.
yeah,
Give me
yeah,
Dave.
yeah. Dave, good answer. Good answer. Great
Thanks.
answer.
So let me see the other influences. This all right. So as I've been because I feel like my influence, I'm learning more about myself with my
Mhm.
second and third projects. So I would say my other two influences, I would say would definitely probably have to be like Erica Badu and I really let me think. I really love Little Dragon. I almost feel
Okay,
like
not
she's a bit
familiar
of
with
an
that artist.
influence. Yeah, she's actually it's a band
Okay,
and they're from Europe. And it's has a little bit of a darker, she has a darker, smokier sound, and her music is a bit darker. And I really love that.
so check her out. Well, that's an awesome, awesome Mount Rushmore for sure, for sure. So this has been a blast. I've loved getting to know you. I love getting to hear your
Same.
origin story. I'm having a blast. But here comes the fun part. Are you ready for a little song association?
Yes.
All right. So the rules are simple. We play 3 rounds, and you have 10 seconds to think of a song with the word in either the lyric or the title. So, an example that we went on before line, if the word was star, you could say twinkle, twinkle, little star, and that's a point. It's 3 rounds, so we're striving for perfection. We're striving for
Do I get a
perfection.
prize?
You get the official den mate stamp, which isn't worth much, but it means you're in the family for life. So that's kind of cool. We're kind of cool
Thank
here.
you.
We're kind of cool with
Yeah.
the den mates. So if you're ready, the first word is, let me set my timer. Us. US.
I still can't believe it. It's been 5 years and a fistful of tears, a lot of fears and finally happiness. Yeah. It's just us, babe. My song.
Perfect. Perfect. So that's 1 point. We're almost there. So word number 2 is hurt. HURT. Hurt.
Can I use a past tense?
Yeah, sure. Any
And I
variation.
can't believe you hurted me.
Okay, okay. That song makes I think every person sing off key in the club. And so I'm glad that you were on key because I know I get my Keisha Cole on and I'm dogs are screaming. It's not good. All right, so we're at 66%. That's already a pass. Right now, this is just gravy. So word 3, never. NEVER. Never.
Never could say goodbye.
MJ, there we go. That's 100%. So you get the official
Woo!
Den Mate stamp. You are in the gang for life. So
Gang,
awesome.
gang.
Absolutely. So we've learned so much about your music. Your vibe is unmatched. You're an official Den
Thanks.
Mate. The floor is
Woo!
yours. Let the world know your social media, where they can find you, and whatever you have going on, it's all on you.
Okay. Well, follow me on IG at Ayoka Music and on Twitter _Ayoka_. Follow my Spotify and SoundCloud too, because new music coming soon.
New music coming soon. So Ayoka, this has been a pleasure. You're dope, obviously.
It's your dope.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're always welcome when that new project comes out. We'll get you back on. You're always welcome here. We thank you so much for joining us here in the Den. Everybody, please go follow my girl. She has some great music. She has some great projects. She has some great items. Everything's for sale. It's dope. So please follow, support. And as always, we thank you guys for joining us here in the Den. It's your boy Mars. It's your girl Ayoka. And as always, deuces.
Peace.
So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now.